a flat tire here. I was raking out behind the dumpster back here trying to clean up some construction debris from our house, and I got a nail in the tire. Tried to plug it up with some gum, but it didn't really work. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to change this tractor tire, except for this time I'm actually going to show you how we change the inner tube or patch the inner tube inside of the tire. So let me get my jack and get started on this for you. So I always use a cinder block, or in this case I'm using a piece of wood to help me get the tire up a little higher. I can tell you this is not the safest way to do things, so if you're going to do it that way, be very careful. You don't want this to rock off that wood or that cinder block. It could be a very painful experience. But I don't tend to do things the safe way, so this is how I'm doing it. I would suggest also that you go ahead and you loosen your bolts on the front of the tire with your crossbar before you jack it up. That way it's loose, and all you have to do is twist them off when you get it up off the ground. So here we are. I've added a few more blocks of wood under there just to start the jack up a little higher. You also want to make sure that your tractor is in gear so it doesn't roll back on you. We'll go ahead and crank this bad boy up. Kind of running a balancing act here. But hopefully as I get this thing higher, I'm going to go with saying the cinder block works better than a piece of wood, because that's just digging into the front piece of the wood, and it's not making the safest situation. I'm going to go ahead and loosen my tire. Always try and keep your bolts in the same place, because you're going to need to find them later. You want to put the tire back on. I'm sure you could get a jack that would go all the way to the ground on this. You won't have to prop up the jack. To do that, you're in a much safer position than doing what I'm doing here by having it sitting on a bunch of wood. But when you're on the farm, sometimes you just have to do what you have to do. Expect it. Accidents can happen, so be careful. Go. Now with these smaller tractor tires or the big ones on back, it's all relatively the same concept. You've got to pry the tire off in order to get to the inner tube. I like to work on the side that has that, so that when I get to it, it's easier to slide back in, because I'm only going to take one side of this tire off. And just need to pry this bad boy off. Now I've got these tools. Using a crowbar could damage your tire, so if you don't want to be replacing a tire, just the inner tube, I suggest you get a hold of some of these. I can tell you right now, this tire is not going to be friendly this morning, so I'm going to look at all my options here. I may actually work from the back side here. The beginning of this process is not easy. Once you get it going, it becomes a lot easier. we've got it pulled up. Okay, here's our inner tube. We go along this thing. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and put a new inner tube in. This one has a very small hole in it somewhere. I am not having any luck locating. It's probably just a little pinhole. And what we'll do at another time is we'll hook this up to the air compressor, put some soapy water on it, find the hole, and we'll patch that. We'll put it in another video just to show you how to patch these. But I don't have a whole lot of time, so I'm going to go ahead and just have a few inner tubes in there, grab a new inner tube, and we'll just go ahead and put the new inner tube in. Save us some time on this. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled out a new inner tube. It's pretty much exactly the same as the one that came out of there. Now remember, the valve stem's on the other side. So I'm actually going to start with where the valve stem is. Try and feed this bad boy in. Now, roll this around. The valve stem is up here at the top. There's the valve stem hole down there. I'm just going to roll this around. Even though I tried to align the fill cap there, it fell through. I could take a pair of needle nose pliers or something, stick it through and pull it, and just kind of hold it out as I fill the tire back up with air with an air compressor. So that's where we're going to go next. I'm going to throw this in the back of my truck, take it down to my air compressor, throw some air in this bad boy. Again, I just kind of left the old inner tube over there for now. It's patchable, but didn't have time to patch it, so I just went ahead and tucked in a new inner tube, and then I pried the tire back on to make sure everything was lined up correctly. So we're good to go to the next step. Okay, so to pump this tire up, what I have here is I've got a Boss Stitch air compressor, and my attachment, I've got a air attachment here. All I need to do is screw in this piece, give me something to attach my hose to. Here I've got an air compressor. Okay, so let's turn this air compressor on. Make sure we get the air compression that we need. Take a pair of needle nose pliers. So that's pretty much all there is to it. We just put some air in the tire. It's pretty full. I don't trust a pressure gauge on that, so I'll probably test it with just a regular tire pressure gauge. I think I've got it a little over full, but right now it gets us back on the tractor. So go ahead and get this in the back of the truck. put up our tools, and we're good to go. Let me go ahead and tighten these down while this wheel is up. That way I can make sure that I get the wheel evenly positioned. Voila, we just repaired the inner tube of a tractor tire.